In the old part of the city, there stood a building, 13 stories high. The locals called it Shadow Tower. Even during the day, a strange silence surrounded it. Shopkeepers would whisper that they heard the elevator running at night, even though the building had been sealed for 10 years. But the need for money can make a man do anything. Samir, 28 years old, had just started a new security job. The agency told him, "Just keep an eye on the building at night, no one ever goes in." The pay was good. He didn't ask too many questions. The first night was quiet. On the ground floor, there was a small security desk, an old CCTV system, and an elevator that strangely looked brand new. Dust had settled on every other part of the building. But the elevator was gleaming. It was 2:13 a.m. Samir had just taken a sip of his tea when the elevator's digital panel lit up, and without anyone pressing a button, it began to move. He immediately looked at the CCTV screen. It was just static. The elevator stopped. Floor number 13, Samir's throat went dry. "But the building only has 12 floors." The elevator slowly descended. The doors opened. There was no one inside. After that night, things began to change. Every night at 2:13 a.m., the elevator would start. Every time it would stop at 13, and every time the CCTV would turn to static. On the third night, Samir gathered his courage. As the elevator started its ascent, he quickly stepped inside. The air in the elevator was cold, an unnatural cold, like opening a freezer door. The numbers changed. 5, 7, 9, 11. Then a slight jolt. The elevator doors slid open. It was dark outside, but it wasn't a normal darkness. It was as if light itself refused to exist there. Samir took out his flashlight. The beam hit a wall where there were handprints, small handprints, as if a child had been pushing, desperate for help. From somewhere far away, he heard the faint laughter of a child. Samir's heart began to pound. "Who's there?" he shouted. The only reply was more laughter. He slowly moved down the corridor. The paint on the walls was scorched, with black stains in some places, as if there had been a fire. Suddenly, his flashlight died. Darkness. Then he felt it. Someone was standing right behind him. He felt a cold breath near his ear. "You pressed 13. Samir spun around. No one was there. He ran back to the elevator and rushed downstairs. Back in the control room, he rewound the CCTV footage. On the screen, he saw himself standing in the corridor of the 13th floor. But in the video, he wasn't alone. A tall, dark shadow stood right behind him. The next night, while checking the building's records, Samir discovered that a fire had broken out there 9 years ago. The official records stated the building had 12 floors, but an old newspaper clipping told a different story. Illegal experiments were being conducted on the 13th floor. Some had accused the owners of testing on children. The fire had started on that very floor, and in that fire, no bodies were ever found. That night, at 2:13 a.m., the elevator started again, but this time it didn't come back down. Samir looked at the CCTV. The screen was showing the inside of the elevator, and inside, he was standing there. But Samir was in the control room. The Samir inside the elevator slowly looked towards the camera. His eyes were completely black. Then he smiled. The lights in the control room began to flicker. The phone started ringing, unknown number. Samir answered the call. On the other end, there was only the sound of breathing. Then, a child's faint voice. "We are still burning." Suddenly, every door in the building slammed shut. The elevator came down. Ding, the doors opened. It was dark inside, but scrawled on the wall, as if with a finger, were the words, "You belong here now." Samir stumbled backward, but he felt the floor disappearing from under him, as if he was slowly sinking into the darkness. The next morning, the police found the building's main gate open. On the security desk, there was only Samir's ID card. The CCTV system was running. The screen showed a live feed. The corridor of the 13th floor, and there, Samir was standing, motionless, staring directly into the camera. The elevator button for floor 13 was now permanently lit, waiting for 2:13 a.m. They say, in every city, there's a building where the elevator never comes back down. If you ever see the number 13 light up in an old building's elevator, Remember, some floors don't just take you up, some floors don't let you come back. Thanks for watching. If this story sent a chill down your spine, hit that like button and subscribe for more tales from the shadows.